Okay, we are up with Elena Danaan.
Hello, everyone. Hey,
Hey,
Laura.
hey,
Hey, Aggie.
hi, hi.
Oh, it's a pleasure to see you. And we've had a formidable, remarkable explanation by Nori about what it is to become who we are meant to be. And oh, my heart was wide open, really. She's very good and she explains very, very well. We are
Yeah,
all we all had a treat.
what we heard was the real Nori, and I gotta be honest, I'm not so sure. I've known her 5 years, and I'm not so sure I've heard her like this. She was, I think I know, because she was rolling with it, and I think she was channeling herself in order to get all of this good stuff out.
You know, Aggie, and that is going to be one of the topics I'm going to talk about tonight. A lot of people, more and more people, seem to have changed. They speak differently. They behave on a different frequency, and this, what Nori showed us, is a very good example because she is who she truly is, and she really, really shows it and radiates it. And that's where we are all going, embracing who we are. And it's
Yeah.
not about only personality. No, it's about who's inside.
Yes. Well, I think most people know Elena Danaan, but if you want to say a few things about yourself for the 3 people that don't know you yet, then maybe feel free to.
Yes, of course. So I am archaeologist. I am also writer and researcher, and I am a contactee with the Galactic Federation of Worlds and other positive extraterrestrial organizations. I am known because I was abducted by Grays when I was a child and then rescued by the Galactic Federation of Worlds. And I kept contact with them all my life. And I decided to become public about it in 2019. And so this is who I am.
Wonderful. Well,
And
the floor is yours, Elena.
okay.
So
Okay.
let us
So
all.
so tonight I am going to, it's very good that I'm speaking after Nori because I'm going to tell you about who you are as a human being, who you are, but where you come from. Where do you come from? Okay. So I have a little presentation to share. I will share with you, share screen. Before I do that, I would like to really make sure that you are aware that you are not these bodies. You are eternal souls that have incarnated temporarily into this existence. And this bloodline that you borrow, it is not who you are, but you will carry with you throughout your incarnations the imprint of this bloodline, because DNA is frequency. So every bloodline you've incarnated into, you took a gift with you to the next incarnation, a memory of the DNA you once resonated with. And you can travel back in time, reconnecting with these memories. You can go back to the start. But let us first talk about the humans of Earth, these bloodlines, these human bodies, okay, that you are borrowing for a lifetime, that you are from here or from somewhere else. This is just like changing a car. What is the story of these humans of Earth? So I'm going to share a little presentation if it works. Okay, share. Okay. So this is Earth, about 300 million years from now. There was a continent, a supercontinent that we call Pangaea. And at that moment, life was just forming on the planet at a cellular level. There were microorganisms in the ocean, little creatures were there, and Earth was a very promising ground for life to develop. It was at the right distance from the star, the sun, and right orbit. Everything was perfect. Life on Earth was meant to develop by chance, and the development of life was about to unfold, you know, following the laws of evolution, and it's on its own time. But Earth wasn't the oldest planet in the galaxy, and it was found by these guys. These guys were Naga. They were reptilians from Alpha Draconis, and all these constellation that we call Draconis, there were different star systems. So these guys decided, oh, that's ours. And that was a very long time ago. And no one was there to tell them to go away. So they settled on Earth. And they were the first extraterrestrials to arrive on Earth. And that is why the reptilians often claim that they were there first and that's their planet. Well, they're right and they're not right. They were there first, it is correct, but it is not their planet. So they engineer life to enhance the reptilian creatures. They pushed the reptilian genomes, and huge animals, the big ones, we call them the archosaurs, the class of the dinosaurs. There were so many reptiles, and it was going to become a reptilian planet. They had as a plan to develop reptilian life and terraform the environment to their needs. And they started that. The thing is that other extraterrestrial came and decided otherwise, that this was not right, that a chance needed to be given to all creatures at equal chance on this planet. And that was creating a disbalance. So these other extraterrestrials came and decided to put things a little bit more in balance. Specimens of dinosaurs were of reptiles, of anything that was alive. All the specimens of DNAs of all the creatures, all the living things on this planet were taken safe samples to a safe database somewhere in another galaxy. These other extraterrestrials, who were a more advanced culture, were in fact a compound of different cultures. It was an intergalactic culture, means different cultures from several different galaxies. These ETs were calling themselves the Seeders. I made this little drawing to show a little sample of who they are. So you have the tall one in the middle. It's the original race of the Patal. They were calling themselves the Patal. That's the original race, the tall one with the darker suit and the bald head. It was the original race of the Patal. And this race this name has been given, in fact, to 23 other cultures, intergalactic cultures, who joined the Patal. And so the whole group finally was called Patal as well. You have the lady with the long hair. She's an Altian. The guy on her, well, on the left on this picture, he represents many different Nordic type humanoid races. Just in front of the Patal, the big one, you have a small gray, and this is one of the roots of the grays in this galaxy. Not all the races. And on the right, you have a reptilian who has different features. It's not the same family as those from the constellation Draconis. That's different. So you see that the diversities of life were already not only on our galaxy, but in our other galaxies. We can see that the human genome, the gray genome, the reptilian genome are not special, especially from our galaxy only. It is widespread in the whole universe. Regarding humans, although grays and reptilians had already developed a branch in our galaxy, regarding humans, there was no humans. The human genome comes from other galaxies. They were first seeded in the Lyra constellation, and then this is a Patal, one of the drawing for my next book. The human life was seeded in this galaxy in the Man system, which is one of the systems in the Lyra constellation. And human life has been widespread, developed in the Lyra zone. Then it has expanded in the galaxy, but also other worlds were seeded later on, and Earth was one of them. This is the Altians. That's my friend Una. So this little creature, so that's a lemur, but it's not the same creature that was on Earth. It was a different one that had developed naturally. So that was really an indigenous little animal. And so the Earth, after a while, came back to balance. Reptile was still there, but in balance with all the rest, and all life had equal chance to live and develop. So now that was a formidable Garden of Eden for the seeders, the 24 seeder cultures, to develop the most incredible and wonderful, dearest experiment that they had ever performed anywhere else. They decide, because this planet was such a garden of wonders and of abundance, everything was there for any type of species of life, birds, reptiles, sea creatures, mammals, everyone could adapt into this environment. So they decided that it was a great place to start the experiment. They took a little creature like this one, and slowly, slowly, they decided to improve, according to the laws of evolution, slowly, slowly, change the genome into humans. And this early human that you see here, which is reconstitution of a Neanderthal human, these first humans had already the genome of 10 different extraterrestrial species. 10 different extraterrestrial species. This human was already a child of the stars, from the stars, the body of it. The consciousness of this human being was from this planetary matrix. We will talk about planetary matrices and consciousness a little bit later on. Let's go back to the evolution of this amazing, amazing creature that became the bodies you all occupy. So the experiment was going on well, and this particular human was developing wonder, and all life was amazing on Earth. You know, the seeders, they came and they went, and one day they went for a long period because they said, now these humans, we're going to let them on their own develop. We'll have a look times to see if they haven't blown themselves up, but we will just leave them now on their own. The experiment is superb, and we're now going to just do something else. They left, and shortly after, other guys came in. These other guys were from this galaxy that the star people called Nataru. These guys were coming from the constellation of Orion and Sirius system, the Sirius B system, more exactly. This guy had a civilization very much extended. The headquarters of their civilization was in the Sirius B system, but they owned at the time, they managed the whole Orion zone. The Greys weren't even developed yet. There was some Greys developing in Orion, but it wasn't that time yet. This guy, of course, you recognize them. These were named Anunnaki. They were a type of original Greys and human from Sirius B. They were hybridized. They were a special race, extremely intelligent culture, extremely intelligent beings, very, very highly advanced already. And they had come, the original, before settling into the Sirius B system, their root race was coming from a parallel dimension, and they had used the Orion portal, which is a vortex in the M42 nebula. But these guys, so they arrived on Earth. They were exploring spaces and trying to find, improve their empire. They were not really conqueror. They were just expanding their civilization. And they arrived on Earth, and they say, oh, great, that's an amazing place. How abundance there is on this planet. It's amazing. Let's take some resources for us ourselves. There's nobody here to forbid us to do that. So let's do it. So they start to take a few resources and mine gold, especially. This guy, his name is Air, is otherwise known as Enki, which is his title. So who this guy is? This guy came along in the expedition. He was the half-brother of the general or commander of the expedition, whose name was Enlil. His brother, so he had half-brother Enlil, so that there was a race of humans that were there. Here we go. They were very interesting because they could help them to mine the resources, because the Anunnaki had brought their own workforce, who were the Igigi. They were workforce from their world, reptilian species. But these people just, they were fed up with the job and they rebelled. So Enlil, the commander of the expedition, decided that they could find another resource to help them mine the gold, because they needed the gold for very specific things. They saw that these guys were there, and they named them blackheads. Well, their skin was very dark. They had dark hair. They were very much more smaller. The Anunnaki were not that tall. They were not giant. They had bald head. The red-haired giants are something else. It's another species, another culture, which is the Nor. So they decide to enroll these guys to help them. Until now, no problem. But then they Then Enlil had an idea. He decided we need to improve the DNA of these guys, and there's a great potential, and improve the way we are going to use them. So he asked his half-brother Enki, Ea, to do the job. And Ea wasn't a geneticist, he wasn't military, he wasn't leading anyone. He was of royal blood, but he was just a geneticist. And he accepted. He accepted. He said, okay, I accept, I will improve their DNA to enhance their abilities, their capacity. So he did it. But doing this, he discovered that these guys had 10 at the time, 10 different extraterrestrial, intergalactic DNA tracers. Oh my goodness. Enki saw that and he changed his mind. He changed his mind and he said, these guys, they're not going to become slaves. It's not their destiny. I will forbid that. So in secret, he engineered, developed, he didn't engineer anything, he just activated the dormant DNA abilities of those people and developed what we call now the Adamu, the human, the activated human, and to really enhance them and give them something very special. He put his own blood in it, he put his own DNA in it. That created specific bloodline who are more, have more psychic powers or more enhanced than others. But the other humans were anyway developing at their own pace. When Enlil saw that, he was furious. He was furious. He didn't want these humans to become extraordinary, to become who they were. So he had a big fight with his brother Enki, and he decided to wipe out these humans. That's the story of the flood, where the humans were helped by Enki and his good people. Well, we know all these stories. But that's how the humans of Earth became suddenly, brutally enhanced and activated, I would say. Other extraterrestrial factions arrived, and they had wars with the Anunnaki. They wanted to split the Earth in different territories, and everyone wanted to be the main custodian of the planet. But this didn't happen like this. These wars were horrendous, and even in the star system, that's how we got the planet Maldek, the fifth planet, to explode. It was incredibly violent. The things stabilized. So here are Sumerian tablets where all of this is written. This is archaeological fact. And this is written, carved in clay. The clay is the material of creation. The clay is very metaphorical. It's not only a handy material to carve things. The clay is the alchemical matter. It's the philosophical stone. Nearly in the clay, life is born. And writing, the sacred writings are born in clay. So then you have, okay, remember these guys, that's the Altians. They came back. Once time passed and the humans were developing, more or less enslaved, they weren't really helped. The Altians came back, and other people from now the galaxy, the Lyrans, people from the Sirian systems, a lot of different places, and colonies were created on Earth. This is Atlantis, where the Altians had created, and there were a lot of colonies from different extraterrestrial cultures, and also humans. Humans had developed their own culture. They were interacting with the gods, what they were calling the gods, who were living in their special cities, isolated like Atlantis, or on the top of mountains like Mount Olympus in Greece, or in the glaciers of ice sheet of Norway, or all the different places where gods were dwelling. It was the different territories of the custodian gods. This is Hyperborea. Hyperborea. You can guess a little bit. You see the Mediterranean Sea with Italy, Greece, Spain. Now you can guess the top of it. The water levels were lower because of the ice age. So this civilization had developed into what we call Hyperborea. It was the time of legends. You know, when you know, all Lord of the Rings, all these legends with the elves and all these things. It was the reminiscence from these times. Magic was alive, and it was, you had all sorts of magical animals. It was, so these people traded with Atlantis and other countries, other civilizations. Well, Atlantis had a war as well because the colonies shifted from the class of the priest and the Alteans. So bad things happened. War happened for power. There's a lot of details to be developed, but anyway, there was a certain type of crystals that were holding a great power that not really benevolent custodian extraterrestrials wanted to own. So finally, Atlantis finished at the bottom of the ocean. But as they knew that before it finished at the bottom of the ocean, all the knowledge of Atlantis went on the mainlands. These are the pyramids of Giza. Pyramids of Giza were constructed at that period, at the end of the last ice age. Under these monuments were stored records of the ancient civilizations. So that's the halls of record. The arcs are something else. They may be found beside our halls of records, but not always. That's the Giza Plateau. The Sphinx is a marker, marks the entrance of the halls of records. So Egypt was populated by, well, they received the colonies of the survivors from Atlantis and many other lands that were flooded. But these people didn't create the Egyptian civilization. The Egyptian civilization was older than that. How do we have archaeological proofs of that? It's because of artifacts like this one, which is 3450 BC. It's on a knife, on ivory. It's from the civilization of Nakata, who was before the Egyptian civilization. And this is a Mesopotamian depiction of the master of animals. This proves that Mesopotamian people were there before the pharaonic civilization, and that matches with the ancient tablets that say that the Anunnaki sent a colony to Egypt. So the Egyptians had several levels of civilizations on their land. So the Anunnaki first, and then the refugees from Atlantis. And then it developed into the civilization that we know now. So that's for the little history of where we come from. there would be a lot to develop, but let's focus on who we are, where we come from, where these bodies come from. That's what we've been talking about. I've been talking about until now, where these bodies come from. What's inside? It's something else. What's inside is a consciousness. It's a light body. It's something that is immortal, that just travels from vehicle to vehicle. Consciousness comes from source. What we call source is the generator of consciousness, is the center of everything. Some may call it God. It's the generator of all life, all everything, and consciousness. It is the center core of the fractal equation of the universe. Each planet developing life develops as well a sphere of consciousness. This sphere of consciousness is going to be a sphere that wraps around the planet. And this sphere, in this sphere, the souls will leave the body and go and stay there and go back to incarnate on the planet. That's how you go. Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm going to stay here. That's where you go from mineral to vegetal to animal state, and you develop. And when you're ready, you've reached a certain stage of development in consciousness, you can now leave your soul planetary matrix. First, to stay in your galaxy, and then, once you've performed a stage of evolution in your galaxy, you can go to incarnate in other galaxy, leave your mother. You know, the star people, they call the galaxies the mothers. I find that very, very beautiful. I know this is a bit simplistic, but I want really everyone to know about this. The difference of a galaxy, a star system, and a planet. Okay, well, that's just a little note beside. I just want to be sure everyone knows about that. The star system. So here we go. So when we develop inside of a planetary matrix, this is where, for the first time, a fractal of consciousness from source has been seeded by source, by the love of source for life. You've been seeded on a planet for the first time. It's a fractal of consciousness of source. You still haven't got yet the awareness of who you are, just a seed of consciousness. And this seed is planted into the planet, and it's going to follow, to incarnate throughout all the realms of existence on the planet, to allow consciousness to experience and develop. And once the consciousness reaches the level of human bodies, it has already become aware of who they are. And the story keeps on continuing until the consciousness has evolved enough to leave the planetary matrix. So some come to Earth. Where were you born for the first time? Do you belong to the Earth planetary matrix? Were you seeded here first? Have you yet completed your cycle of evolution in consciousness? And are you able to leave this planetary matrix of Earth to go incarnate on other planets? Or are you still in the process of discovering who you are? If you are not from this planetary matrix, you may have been seeded somewhere else. And there is a program. So that's the constellation of Orion. I'm showing this because we can go and experience on different planets just to nourish our experience and grow and learn, because we develop with the experience. This is why we choose to forget before incarnating, to experience. So, star seeds like that were common things since very long time. Until a war, a despicable war, just ignited in the Orion zone. The Anunnakis were gone. They had just lost power there. A great, not great in good, but great in power, empire had developed. The Nebu, the Greys, and these guys had taken over the Orion zone, and a big war started. The local population just fought for themselves and created the Black League to fight against the Greys. And the Orion Council of Five, you see these 3 stars in the middle, the Orion belt. Well, Al-Nilam is the star in the middle, and Al-Nilam has shifted in a higher density since the Orion Wars. Al-Nilam is a beautiful star, giant, surrounded by blue haze. It's beautiful. On one of the planets was the Council of 9 most developed cultures in Orion. These guys were like the Jedis. Star Wars. Star Wars is disclosure of the Orion Wars. So consider the Council of 9 at the time, 5 now, as the Jedi. So they decided to help this population to fight against the Greys. In time, they went from 9 to 5, Council of 5, for different reasons. These people created a program of, they called it the Envoy program. So also following the Starseed process, they sent a call to the galaxy and they said, whoever wants to get rid of the Greys once and for all can follow the Envoy program. They are going next to Earth, that little blue planet in the outskirts of the galaxy. Whoever wants to go there, incarnate there, can be part of the Envoy program. Many did that. As the Black League people say, we went there to finish a job. But then there's another program of Starseed that also parallel to the Orion one, the Council of 5 one, another program which also started. This second Envoy program was started by the Andromedans, the Zenae, from the planet Titawin, which is in the constellation of Andromeda. So this is not a very good picture, but you see roughly, it's the only one I found that shows the constellation of Andromeda and a galaxy in the far side that we see through the constellation of Andromeda. That is why this galaxy has been called the Andromeda Galaxy. I want to really be sure that everyone understands. It's not the galaxy Andromeda. It's from the constellation in our galaxy that the Zenae come from. The Zenae have seen in the future, they have seen what has happened on Earth now. They saw that on Earth, something had developed. That's the Zenae. Something has developed. These guys, these draconians, the Sicars, they came back to Earth and they decided to ally with Earth humans and create a really, really, really negative, destructive army to conquer the galaxy. That's how the Dark Fleet was, the Nachtwaffen was created. And 300 years in the future, which is not very far. At that time, when the Andromedans sent the call, well, these guys were just destroying the galaxy everywhere, the Dark Fleet. So something needed to be done. So a program of starseeds, of course, was sent to Earth, but also to eradicate these people, that's others who came after. The Galactic Federation of Worlds, which was freshly formed, was sent because they are a formidable force of intervention. They are military force. So that's what happened. And these guys came, the Greys. Afterwards, in the 1940s, the reptilians, and they were already there. They were starting to develop the Dark Fleet. It was long before the World War II, you know, they were already developing these plans. The Greys arrived. So there were agreements that were passed with the MJ-12 behind the back of President Eisenhower. What was it about? So, you know, the Greys, the Nebu from Orion, they wanted Earth, but the reptilians were there. So the thing is, these guys were competitors, two empires, competitors. Sometimes they ally when there's a great profit to be shared. So they work together. They don't like each other, but they work together. And what happened? You know, the Galactic Federation of Worlds was there. They sent warnings to the Earth people. Be careful, the Greys are arriving. Do not sign anything with them. They are the biggest deceivers of the galaxy. Well, first the Galactic Federation met with wonderful President Dwight Eisenhower, and they said, do not sign with the Greys, they're coming. And Eisenhower said, oh yeah, I totally want to go with you guys. And he made agreements with the Galactic Federation of Worlds. But the thing is, the Nebu came afterwards, and the MJ-12 signed with them. For what? Well, the Nebu said to the MJ-12 and the government within the government, well, we can maybe abduct a few people, a few humans, because, oh, you know, our race is dying, our genetics are really, really bad, and we need a few of your DNA to revive it. And some even went to say that they were humans from the future, which was absolutely, it's not working. They are Greys, they're not humans, you know. And that's what was signed. But the thing is, they didn't abduct a few humans. They abducted millions of humans each year. And this program was an invasion because they could never attack Earth. They could never attack Earth like this. The Federation would be at their ass. But so they decided to do an invasion by the womb, breeding hybrids. Well, the Federation came back. Well, they were here, but they really made a big intervention. That's a really shortcut. They eradicated all the Greys and the reptilians from the star system. This has finished and complete last year in 2021. And now that was cleaned, Greys are gone. Mars was liberated as well. The moon was liberated. Reptilians have gone. The Dark Fleet in the star system has been kicked out. And now, finally, the solar system is going to finally know peace. But on Earth, job needs still to be done. So recently, in October 2021, came back the seizures the Galactic Federation of Worlds, because now the star system was liberated, and they are coming to see the graduation, if we can say, of the civilization of the humans of Earth. The family is back. Those who put within us this 11 different genome. Human being has 22 galactic and intergalactic different genome. It's, well, actually one original creature and 21 extraterrestrial. The 10 other ones came from people from our galaxies, the different races that came and colonized Earth. So that's a picture of an Altean. Now, these guys coming back to celebrate with us and pass to the next stage of what is going to happen means contact, civilian contact. This had been also foreseen by our enemy. The extraterrestrials, the Galactic Federation and all the allies, they have taken care of the extraterrestrial problem in this star system. But now it's up to us humans to take care of the human problem. The enemy had foreseen that. And what they did, they prepared, because they have looking glass devices, they have time device, they had prepared a counterattack, counterintelligence to activate at the right moment, to turn people away from what is really happening, to confuse people. They have been grooming a lot of people, everyone, to fantasy narratives that they have put into the New Age and the spiritual communities. They invented characters that were to take away from people the focus. They were saying to people that they were going to be saved, that someone of extraterrestrial divine origin was going to come and save everyone. They took back old myth, some ascended masters as well, taking their name and their character to invent stories that had nothing to do with these beings. Ashtar is a fantasy. Ashtar Shiran is a fantasy. It has nothing to do with the real Ashtar organization. But I'm showing this to you to tell you about, it represents all the fantasy, the Jerusalem ship, which is a trap, it doesn't exist, all these things that have been just put into our heads. The three-letter agencies, the alphabet agencies, have created this one that you see here. That the flat Earth was an experiment to really dumb down the population. It has really worked, and a lot of people have been manipulated. It's not their fault. It's not because you've been manipulated. It's you need to feel guilty. Happens to everyone. These guys are very, very skilled. Another thing that has been prepared also to scare people, to maintain people in a vibration of fear. That's a real narrative that has been prepared since the 1940s, and that's when the Greys arrived. It was even the reptilians had also taken part in these narratives. That was a great one, scaring people so badly with a solar event that people would be scared, telling people that the Earth was going to be wiped out from all life, and they were going to be saved by extraterrestrials. Bad baddies also, so you have also the plan of another fear porn as well, which is a fake alien invasion. And the Hollywood industry has well worked on the mentalities and the collective unconscious with that. They made experiments quite early with radio pranks to see how people would be gullible to believe this, with H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, for instance. That's also, you have the alien invasion. That's real agenda that has Werner von Braun had warned people about that. This is planned. They still hope to do it, and they are really trying to play the last cards. So either alien invasion, and then you will need to follow the New World Order that they try to do, but that's failed already, but they still try. That will tell you, unite under New World Order to resist together to the bad ETs, but that's all illusion, holographic things and stuff. So either that, or either a solar flash and being saved by extraterrestrials. But that's dangerous, because with holographic technology, they can make you believe that solar flash is going to come, and spaceships arrive, and oh, come on, we are saving you, and you go in and you're gone. That may be a culling, you know. So I in Independence Day, Independence Day movie, they depicted these extraterrestrials, and who they are real depiction of a real extraterrestrial, which is the Negumak. They made them very evil, but in fact, who are they? The real ones. They are the most feared enemies of the reptilians and the Greys. So these guys would in fact could have helped us if the things were going bad. Resistance organized on Earth, and I like this photo from Star Wars movies, because the Orion Wars, and we are still there. We are all organizing, taking responsibilities for ourselves, standing for ourselves against the tyranny and against the empire, and building the rebellion and just kicking these guys out. Create a world of peace. Finally, taking our planet in hands, giving the planet in the hands of the children, the new generations, who are the real earthlings of the future, the ones who are going to build, the new architects, the new guides, the new scientists. They are just being born now. These are the most precious things on Earth now. May they be from the Earth matrix or coming from the stars. These souls are going to build a new world. This new world was shown to me, and I was very impressed to see nature everywhere, because humans have built colonies on other planets. Humanity has expanded. It's going to go very fast, and we are going to go very far, where no humans of Earth have gone before. We are heading for a Star Trek future. Yes, a world of peace, federated in peace and harmony. And this is we are, we were, and where we are going. Here we go. There we go. So now I don't know how long I have.